everyone, and welcome to ATS version 1.36. As you can see, 1.37 with Fmod has just been released. We're going to open up my 1952 profile here. Oh, there's even an old clapped out truck. Mint. Alright, so what we are doing is revisiting some of these old mods, and kind of what I was doing here was classic truck simulator before we move into the Fmod era, whatever, before it breaks all the mods. I know there's a lot of cool engine mods. One guy, I can't remember his name, I should have wrote that down, but he's got all kinds of cool old engines, N14s, big cams, K Series Cummins, two-stroke Detroits, even Series 60, C15s, E models, B models, you name it, he's got it, just about. So, that having been said, we're going to do a quick little cruise here. I wanted to kind of explain what I've been up to. We're also going to go back to the normal profile. Here we are. And take a look at the old N14 that I had in that truck. This is, of course, A model KW. I will be placing links in the description for at least this truck. Maybe a couple more. You know what, while we're here, why not? Let's go to truck dealers. Access mod dealer. That's where you want to be. Alright, so there's of course got the A model here. And man, I forgot the feller's name. I don't remember anyone's name. I'm sorry, guys. Who made this mod, the K100E. Super popular, super high quality. And of course the old R model Mack as well, with you know, all of 11, or maybe it's 12 horsepower. There it is, 237. What I did on this save, you know, it was 1952, or PFTW 1952 instead of the more recent year, is I decided, let's try some kind of classic truck simulator. So that's what I did. I took out all the in-game trucks. Let's get the GPS to work here. Get on the road. I put her in gear, of course. Took out all the in-game trucks except for the W9. You apparently can't, because the in-game truck count as DLCs. And you have to have at least one of the stock truck DLCs to be able to play. So that was more than a little bit annoying. Okay. So, I wanted to do just classic truck simulator. That's what I was calling it. I know some other people did some like 90s truck sim, you know, pre-emissions truck sim, whatever, Freightliner Classics, 379s, whatever else. And a couple of classics in there. But I started just a new profile, company driver. I tried staying away from the new trucks as much as possible. Just barely made that. I think we're gonna leave her in this gear. We got a 9-speed in this truck. Oh yeah. Now listen what happens. And it's a two-stroke Detroit. There's some kind of conflict with various mods. I have the A model engines mod as well as V8 engines mod, so they must be conflicting with each other. But you know, I started out just with whatever you know, whatever you could do. I drove that R model Mack a bit with you know, 12 or 11 horsepower, whatever it was. The 5-speed was kind of brutal, but just the kind of feeling of just barely, you know, 50 miles an hour, you're doing good. I didn't do the K100 that much because it came with the higher output engines, and that kind of ruined the feel. You know, the A models always came with 370, which, you know, in my mind, you know, the 350 at one time back in the day was a big horse. That's what this truck has right now from the A model engines mod. But once again, the sound doesn't work correctly. So when I bought my first truck, it was the K100E, and I got the 270 NHS 275 engine mod, and that was great. Excellent sound, super well done, just like the K100E is. And just went out and hauled with that thing. It was slow, had a 10-speed. I think it was a 10-speed direct with 308s, that transmission for the K100E. Just flat top, nothing fancy. Later on, I got an engine from the engine pack. It was an 8V92T. And I just basically turned it down, found some specs, turned it down to 318. And said, oh yeah, we got a 318 Detroit. That was a lot of fun, and that's what this truck had when I bought it. You know, just nothing fancy. A model Kenworth, kind of short 70 spec, except for the long hood, of course. Single stack, rail bumper. You know, just a truck that looks kind of normal, entry level, sorta, for the day. Of course, we got AC, which is of course AC up top. It just looks super sharp. And ran that with 318 for a while. And then I put this 350 in here, which, you know, that's a big hammer. And now the sound is goofed up. I decided I'm not going to bother with trying to figure out what went wrong. Pulling down. Let's give her RPM. There we go. I was going to figure out what went wrong, especially because the new mods, different things that are going to be coming out. I'll sort it out then if there's still problems, which I doubt. And of course, trying to pull, you know, kind of old school trailers, a little bit more with axles to the back, not 53s. Try and stick with 40 footers and whatever else. Off here. And of course, mostly I was using. Had the GPS turned off and tried to memorize the routes and do the you know, just watch the signs and try and find your way to wherever you're going from there. And that's kind of the concept that I was trying to get. It's, you know, classic truck simulator. You know, welcome to 1968 or whatever it would be. 74, 76, 79, whatever you end up with. Of course, K100E isn't exactly period correct, right? But just kind of that old, you know, classic trucks, the older looking trailers, the engines that, you know, were really weak compared to, you know, modern standards. Like I said, you know, if you're doing 50 miles an hour, you did good. What does this say? Okay, well, welcome to Weed. Historic lumber town. Well, this is pretty cool. You know, I haven't been here before. I just hooked a trailer that looked right, and off to the races we go with the old 855. That sounds like a two-stroke Detroit under the hood. You know what? I think we got some more RPMs. That's 24. Yeah, this 350 I did a little bit of work too to try and make it a little bit less of a dog with, you know, a little bit more clutch engagement torque and rev the RPMs out a little bit better. I think it makes a few more horses than 350 now because of the extra RPM and whatnot. Torque curve to kind of go with that, right? But you know, I think that pretty much covers the concept of, you know, classic truck simulator. What I've been doing. We're not gonna stop for that. Oh, it's kind of a gun, man. What do you expect me to do? Slam the brakes and end up in the middle of the intersection? Let's just give her. That's not right. But you kind of see what I've been up to. Of course, love this mod. Try and paint it up like you would see an old truck with the hubs and frame all painted the same color as the tractor. But that's kind of what I've been up to. Just running the old iron. Whatever else you have. So we're gonna move over to the I guess more recent rigs. All right, we're back with the old N14 idling just a little bit too fast. Of course, with the fancy deep reduction transmission that I modded in with a hopper bottom. I was super excited when I found that they were adding hoppers, and I tried to do a video on the beta, public beta, where they added the hoppers. And I unfortunately my recording software acted up, so that didn't keep it. Lost the file, or the file just simply didn't work. And you may see some lower quality on this video because the recording software is acting up a little bit. So you never got to see that. And of course, that was with the beta. And I was, you know, there was a lot of stuff that was wrong. But I thought, oh, it's the beta. You know, they're going to change it still, right? And when the actual full version came out, I was really disappointed. For a number of reasons. Like, just for one, it's the standard light package, which is horrendous. It doesn't have the marker lights towards the back. Well, it has the one in the corner, but it weren't consistent, right? In fact, I was so excited for the upcoming... where are we going this way? that's what you get when you follow GPS. But when I was so excited for the hopper bottoms, I actually went and got an A model KW, hooked it up to Turnpike double, full whatever 45-foot doubles, loaded fertilizer, super sacks, and no, it wasn't super sacks, that was palletized, bagged fertilizer. Okay, regardless of what it was, and I'm like, oh yeah, soon we're gonna be pulling double hopper bottoms, loaded fertilizer, and they didn't add fertilizer to the cargoes you can haul in the hopper, so that was lovely. And just things like that. We got a load of grain. You can only haul grain and pelletized animal feed, I think. You can get full load with animal feed. You can only get about this much weight with grain. Apparently it totally fills up the trailer. It's not like, it doesn't specify what kind of grain. There's different weights. I'm not super sure what exactly would be what, but as far as, milo, wheat, rye, that's the ones off the top of my head. Soybeans would be a little bit lighter, but as far as milo, you should be able to get, 100,000 pounds in the box, and I've talked to people who have done that. In similarly sized trailers. Now, of course, there's many different sizes. I'm pretty happy to see that this is about, 76 inch. Yeah, this actually, I don't want to rant too much about the hopper bottoms. Like I said, I was disappointed. You couldn't get any fancy paint jobs, which I know they're changing, so that's good. But the cargoes was pretty underwhelming, especially with no fertilizer and the super lightweight grain. But hopefully they do some more improvements. But as I said, this is a fairly tall trailer. It's pretty similar to what I'm used to. Maybe it's a 96 instead of a 102. No, 98 instead of a 102 wide. But all that stuff, regardless, I'm just pretty much here to once again let the old N14 make some noise, because I put some effort into the sounds, mixing and matching and souping it up. Take a look at that speed gauge as we open her up. It seems to accelerate the fastest in that upper RPM range, because I did some fooling around with the torque curve to get it to pull like it felt like it should pull, based on what my N14 performs like, or how my N14 performs, I should say. And unfortunately, I didn't realize what effects that would have, and now that I've learned a little bit more about how that back-end math works, I realize that I've accidentally modded in a 920 horsepower N14. It makes that from about 18 to 2100 RPMs. And then I was complaining, man, the hills aren't steep enough. Well, there's a reason for that. That happens quite a bit with this truck, especially with 900 horsepower N14 and 264 rear end gears and a double over 18. All that garbage aside, mostly was just to enjoy the sounds before we go to F-Mod. Enjoying the sounds, I sure did a lot of talking, right? Maybe I should have kept my mouth shut more, but that was basically the point for today, just to kind of say, have one last ride with the sounds before we go to F-Mod. I was talking with another friend who was pretty underwhelmed with the way F-Mod was executed. As cool as that's going to be, opening your window and the echo underneath the bridges, oh, it's going to be so nice. I haven't tried it for that reason, but I'm looking forward to that. We'll see how she goes. I hear that the mods that I've heard, watched a couple of videos, and I see the transition. Well, we can talk about all that later. This was mainly just for these older version sounds. It sure is a beautiful day here in western Arizona. absolutely beautiful. I always love coming to this part of the country. But I think that's going to be it for today. I've taken enough of your time. Until next time, have a good one.